Hey everybody, thanks everybody watching live on the live stream, and thank you for everybody who's come here this evening to be here in person. This is really exciting. Before we start, I'd just like to give a big shout out to Tom, who spent the last 2 weeks of his time at work and also a lot of his time at home to be able to make this as good as it could possibly be. So if we can just give him a quick round of applause for that. That's amazing. So yeah, my name's Alan Woods from Alan's BMX. We're just moving into we've been at BMX for quite a while. We're moving into our 45th year next year. Can you believe that? That's pretty mad. And we find this sounds a bit like an eulogy now, doesn't it? We find ourselves here today to celebrate the DP Firebird Freestyler. And it isn't the passing away of somebody, which is usual at our sort of age. It's the rebirth. It's the rebirth of what is essentially an iconic UK brand. You probably don't know this story, and Neil might not know this story in reality, but in about 1982, when we had our shop in Hindley, and we were the importers for Talker and for Robinson, Dave actually came to see me because he was thinking of trying to come up with a brand for the UK, because at the time everything was imported from America. You know, nothing was made really in the Far East like it is nowadays. So yeah, we talked through the whole thing, and Dave ended up. We didn't think, I'll be honest with you, we didn't think he could bloody do it. We didn't think he could make a bike as good as a Harrow Freestyler in, no disrespect, North Wales. But you know what? He pulled it off and he did it. And he enabled the kids that couldn't afford, you know, a GT or a Harrow or a Hutch or whatever else, who started off with a Raleigh burner. And it's really, you know, ironically, you know, we never sold those back in the day, but a big part of our business now is, you know, the retro and the old school scene, and that is really because of Raleigh making an affordable bike that the kids can get, and you could get it from the catalogue and pay it off as you went along, and it put BMX bikes onto the shop floor of shops all over the country. And then the next step for the kid that had a burner who wanted to upgrade was Firebird Freestyler. So that's why the Firebird is so important in BMX history in the UK. So yeah, anyway, with no further ado, I'd like to introduce Neil Park.
Thanks, Alan. When John got in touch with me back at the beginning of 2023, he wanted to make the DP Freestyler under license. To be honest, I thought it was a bit of a wind-up. So once he'd spoken to me and his infectious enthusiasm won me over, we decided to do this. And I said to John, well, if we're going to do it, we'll do it properly. And he got on board, and here we are now. There's a few thank yous along the way here today. Stephen Dobson, who many people will know, set up the first DP website. So I've got to thank Stephen. And I've got to thank Chris Mobbs, a guy from Holland who pointed me in the direction of BMX again after many, many years. So thank you, everybody. And thank you, Alan. Thank you, John, because John has been a big part of this. And let's just hope for the brand to succeed again. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. Cheers, mate. Cheers. Yeah, thanks for that, Neil. So anyway, with no further ado, let's take a closer look at the new DP Firebird Freestyler frame fork and handlebar set. Okay, so there you have it, the new Firebird Freestyler. I'll just quickly talk you a little bit through it. Obviously designed with Neil in conjunction with John Bulgens, and the idea behind this is to make a DP Firebird Freestyler for today. It'd be too easy just to be able to take an old bike, of which we've got some fantastic examples of here this evening, and just repop that and put it back out again. That would be the easy option, but what these guys have done is come up with a Firebird Freestyler for 2016. So it has, and you'll be familiar with the approach used in this instance that John had previously used with Haro and with Hutch, and he's applied that treatment to the DP. So yeah, what's happened is frame has got a 20.8 top tube. So typically a modern BMX freestyle park street bike would be between 20.5 and 21 or just over. So 20.8 is just a happy medium between the two. All the fitments are modern, so you haven't got this thing with the threaded forks. Every time you stop, you're tightening the flipping head setup and all that. It's a clamp-on stem, all the latest technology, integrated headset, mid-size bottom bracket, which, if those of you don't know, is basically an American bottom bracket without the aluminium cup pressed in. Standard 10mm front dropout and the forks, and as you saw in the video, the really nice Invest Cast fitment with the DP logo in them. The brake bridge has got the DP logo. You can run a caliper brake on it. The forks, as I say, have got removable brake lugs if you're just running a rear brake. The main, I think, conundrum for them was with regarding, gearing. But really nowadays, anyone who's going to be able to ride one of these, the gearing's got to be 25, 29, 25, 28, and a 9 on the rear. So it's got a 14mm dropout. So standard BMX wheels that you can get anywhere for a freestyle bike, that's what they are. 14mm with the thick rear axle, 10mm front. And of course, you can get Skyway Tough wheels in that configuration as well now. So if you wanted to have that retro look, but a beautiful bike to ride. This definitely fits the bill. And don't forget about the ladder bars. Let's hear it for the ladder bars, everybody! They came out ace. You'll see them in the flesh in a moment, and yeah, they are awesome. Speaking about in the flesh, unfortunately we haven't got the white sample here today. It's called metallic white, but it's like a pearl metallic finish. It is amazing. The chrome, as you will see very soon, I know you can't contain yourselves, but the white is, trust me, super good. And if you see on the next video, we've got some clips of that, so pay attention if you're weighing up whether to get white or chrome. But of course, Neil, there is a solution to that, isn't there? You could get both, yeah, exactly. But yeah, the white in particular looks great. And as I say, it's a frame fork handlebar kit. And again, with the top tube, that makes it not too long if you are still going to do, you know, a rock walk or a curb ender or something like that. But it's long enough and the bars are tall enough for you to be able to, you know, just ride it down the pub or whatever you wanted to do. If you haven't got a raffle ticket for the pre-order, so it's fair to everybody, please see the lovely Kelly over here. And next on my cue card is, here is John Bulgens with the rundown.
Hi everyone, how you doing? John Bulgens here. Just wanted to reintroduce you to the 2026 DP Firebird Freestyler frame, fork and bar. So the frame is a 20.8 top tube with a 11.5 bottom bracket. It has a 13.5 to 13.25 back end. The handlebar is 9.4 inch tall with a 29 inch wide, 10 degree back, 2 degree up. The fork is 25 degree offset with an investment cast DP dropout. The dropouts on the frame also have the chain tensioners on the CNC dropout. So available for pre-order through allansbmx.com from September 2025, and these will be in your hands by March 2026.
Yeah, thank you very much, John, for that. I mean, another thing to take into consideration with the frame kit, nowadays they are a lot easier to be able to assemble. So you're not having to hammer headset cups in, the integrated headset bearings, they just drop into the frame. You don't need any tools for that. It's got an integrated bearing race on the fork, so you're not having to knock that race onto the fork. So all the build and everything is a lot easier than it used to be back in the day. Another advantage of the modern technology, apart from, you know, the clamp-on stem, is you know, there's 990 brake mounts for the U-brake, the front and rear. So if you've got one of the old bikes and you were wondering why your MX-1000 doesn't allow you to do a curb endo, I hate to break this to you, it's because you're no longer 7 stone. So, but yeah, you can do that. You can do that with modern U-brakes, and especially with a sticky pad, you can definitely make that happen. And if you're not going to run a front brake, they have those removable brake mounts. So if you wanted that cleaner look on the fork and not having the lugs sticking out, I imagine most people would want to run a front brake. But for those that don't, you can just remove those and you've got a cleaner look. So it's a good compromise, also without making 2 sets of forks. So the next thing on my list is just telling you how the pre-orders are going to work. And this applies to everyone who's in the room and the people who are watching the live stream. you, and again, thanks to Tom for such amazing content there. Yeah, so we're going to open the pre-orders now for the attendees who are here in person, and I think we're on track still for 7 o'clock, aren't we, Tom, for it going live online. Yeah, so we've got the raffle ticket. You've got, hopefully we've covered everything in that piece of paper there, right? How to be able to do it. And as we've talked about in the video, Neil and John have put an awful lot of time, not to mention money, to be able to get to this point. So to be able to make this work, we really are relying on everyone's support to be able to make this happen and get it over the line. And as such, you will then be part of the DP legacy going forwards. Yep, and as John said, now, John, bless him, has said March in the video, and we're shooting for that, but to avoid any issues, because there's so many factors that can come into play. We know that kind of production is all good. John's been out in Taiwan this week to be able to oversee that. And again, I can't stress enough, if you've witnessed any of John's work previously with the Hutch and with the Harrow Lineage projects, you'll appreciate that his attention to detail is second to none. So he will not just send them a list of instructions and say and hope that it's going to be okay. He'll be there on the production line making sure that the decals and everything are in the right place. Oh, that reminds me, speaking of decals, on the metallic white, they are water transfers and then lacquered over the top. No one's going to be peeling the stickers off these, so that is a really nice finish in the flesh. So going back to the date, we've just got on our website and we've been telling people spring 2026. Yeah, fingers crossed, you know, miracles do happen. Might be March, you know, it might just be a little bit after. Now, we had a lot of people asking us, again, people who got the old school DPs or hadn't got a new bike. And, you know, really what is really amazing for us to see, we've got a lot of people coming into these DPs that they've never had a modern BMX bike like before in their life. So hopefully those people will be getting one of these, riding a little bit more, doing a little bit of flatland or whatever it is, you know, riding at the skate park. So we're stoked for that to be able to happen. But yeah, so we appreciate people want to spec the bike up as they want. And as I say, all the parts are standard on these. So much like back in the day, if you remember me talking about the Rally Burner, that's effectively the same. So if you went next door to our shop and pulled off a BMX bike off the shelf, modern freestyle BMX bike, pretty much everything from that bike would fit onto one of these frame and forks. But because we have had people asking about complete builds, and I don't know about you guys, I tend to think that even if you've got an NOS frame in the box, it's only when it's built that it comes to life, because otherwise it's like an inanimate object. So we have done some complete build options for these, for the people that might want just to get an off-the-shelf bike. We've worked really, really, really hard to be able to make them look and work really well. One of the models we'll see is one that Neil picked the components for himself, and we're able to replicate that. But I'll tell you a little bit of about that after we've had the next video segment. So yeah, there you go. Example of the Neil Park, what we're calling the Elite Edition. I mean, for those riders, and I can see some of you here today who are riding and using the modern parts, you can see that the bike hasn't got a lot of rubbish put on it. We haven't just stuck any old bits and pieces on it to be able to make it work. It's got things like the sealed Odyssey GTX gyro, CNC machine stem and sprocket, 48 spline cranks, Tech 77 levers. Went to a lot of time and effort to be able to make it still look like a classic DP. But some things you might not know, for example, like the tyres. Those Vans Cult tyres, 2.4, super grippy, but they're also fast rolling, so there's a low rolling resistance. And we thought, yeah, they're a no-brainer for this bike, aren't they? We put them on the bike, do all the photography. Stop making them. Stop making the bloody thing, haven't they? So we've had to, the trouble, Toby, shout out to Toby here. Toby, we actually found some of those tyres in Germany, so we've got the last stock to be able to put on the bike. So anyway, without any further ado, who wants to see the bike? Hey! Ta-da! I can't believe it worked. Just for a moment there, I thought there's going to be a glitch, but yeah. So don't worry, it was all planned. So yeah, 3 models on the bike. This is the Neil model, and again, you can look at this up close shortly, and we'll be able to take it down. You can have a sit on it, do a cherry picker if you like. Is that all right, Neil? So yeah, white and chrome. We've done this bike that we've got here, and as I say, this is all hand-picked componentry from Neil, and you know the story about the tyres, but the tyres, for those that don't know, the tyres were a collaboration between Cult and Vans. So they actually, if you look at the tyre, they use the Vans pattern from the shoe, and this replicates the white outsole and the red foxing strip. And as I say, they were a brilliant idea for us to put on the bike, and they set the bike off because when the Firebird originally came out, we didn't really have freestyle tyres. We didn't have the Panaracer freestyle tyres, which we have now available on alsbmx.com. But we used Rally shopping bike tyres. They were the freestyle tyres from back in the day, and a lot of the DPs would have had those. So they're definitely a nod to those. We've got a Skyway option on the bike as well. And we've, to be able to give people an off-the-shelf build that still rode well, but not quite as high-end, we've partnered with a United Bike Co. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Ian Morris, who owns United and 4 Down Distribution, has been a staunch supporter of the UK BMX scene for years and years and years. And his first proper BMX setup was, you know where I'm going with this, don't you? A DP Firebird Freestyler. And Bangor, I believe, yeah. So speaking to Ian about this, so all this, and to have you guys here today, and to be having Ian help us provide components using his United brand for what we call the privateer model is really cool, because ultimately all this and us being here and Neil and John's involvement and everybody else's time and effort isn't really about the money at all. Otherwise we'd be like, I don't know, we'd be buying medical equipment from China or something, wouldn't we? Do you know what I mean? It's all about the passion. So being able to keep that all in the family and having Ian involved with that, we're really stoked. And that enables us to be able to do the privateer model, which is very similar spec, but using all the United parts, including the Supreme setup. We'll be able to do that bike for £1,500, basically. So £500. This is effectively hand-picked, high-end. The components on this bike here are the exact type of parts that you'd see on someone, you know, riding a bike at Olympic level. You know, it is as high end as you can possibly go. Even higher end than some of the completes that we've been mentioning previously because it's handpicked. With regarding the frame numbers, we've done a lot of work to be able to ensure that if you wanted to buy a complete bike, any of the three, either the Neil Park Elite model as shown here, the one with Skyways, or the privateer model with United parts, you can do that and you can still select a frame number. So if you're buying a frame or a complete bike, the system will allow you to do that for the people here in person and when we go live in about half an hour online. I'm doing a lot of talking now. Also, of course, if you wanted to do your own thing regarding components, we can help you with that. You can buy a frame and fork, come back to us and say, hey, you know, I know that I want Redline flight cranks, or I want this stem, or I want a 4-piece bar. No, you're not going to want a 4-piece bar. Who wants a 4-piece bar? Nobody. Who wants a DP ladder bar? Hey. 3-piece bar. 3-piece bar. Thank you very much. Yeah, we can do that and help you to be able to do a complete build further on down the line. Right, I've done enough talking. Before I do some more talking. No, I've finished talking apparently. So I would like to introduce the guys from We Were Rad to give you an exclusive sneak preview of the volume 2 of their amazing book. So everybody, Clint and Ant from We Were Rad.
It's a great honour and a privilege to be here tonight at the launch of the Rebirth of DP. Anybody who's read our first book, you know, the DP Freestyler was a massive part of British BMX culture in the 80s. And whenever we have pictures or we share them on our Facebook or Instagram, the DP Freestyle has a massive kind of place in everybody's hearts and a massive response. We were blown away with the success of our first book. And since then we've grown exponentially, haven't we, in size. We have like 500,000 views every month on Instagram now, and literally every day in our inbox we have tens, if not hundreds of photos. We've got an archive of 40,000 images now of kids on the streets, freestyle, race, and we're very excited to announce that hopefully by the end of this year, or at the very latest at the beginning of 2026. We Were Ad Volume 2 will be coming out. It's got the ethos of the first book, but also we go deeper. We've got longer and more deeper interviews with people like Andy Ruffle and Bob Haro, Eddie Fiola. But we've also got thousands of contributions from kids on the streets. We've got famous people like Sir Chris Hoy telling us their recollections. We've got Ewan Thomas. We've got members of the Kaiser Chiefs. We've got Hollywood directors. Gil Kennan, who was the director of the Ghostbusters franchise. Things that are new in Volume 2, we talk about Transformers era, which was the classic era in the mid-80s when BMXers and skateboarders came together. We've got a global chapter. We've got stories from South Africa, from the Far East, from Japan. Amazing stories from Italy and Holland about their stories. Lots of things are very similar to the UK, and then lots of things are very, very different. We go later, we go all the way up to mid-school, and kind of end the book with Simon Tabron's story, when BMX was kind of reborn again and 20 million people were watching the X Games. We know that you're really going to enjoy it. We've got brilliant brochures for you all to have tonight to hope that you can take away and enjoy. And anything to add, Clint, what would you like to say?
I'd like to say thanks to each and every one of you who sent 1 picture, 10 pictures, stories, anything, you know, badges, anything you've had. We can't do it without your contribution, and your contribution is the book. You are the book. So yeah, thanks to each and every one of you, and please keep them coming. We still have time to include you in the book. It's getting a little bit tight, but if you mean to get in the loft, please do. Get those pictures found, get them sent. We'll make sure you're in the book.
Yeah, and a big thank you to each and every one of you who've supported us along the way. Like Alan said, you know, we couldn't do this without you. You are us and we are you. We do it for the love, and we know you're going to love the next volume. So thank you very much.
I'd just like to say a great thanks to Alan for all his support over the years. He's been an absolute superstar.
Here, here. Thanks, Alan. Thank you.
without you. Never without you.
Yeah, so here's the bike in the flesh. Everyone's stoked on it. I was just speaking to JJ here, and he was explaining the things that he liked in particular. Things that you don't always see at first glance. The tapered fork with the invest cast and CNC machine dropout with the removable brake mounts that we mentioned earlier. No gusset, just like the original. The bars have been a big hit. Currently only available with the frame, fork and bar kit. I'm sure that maybe further down the line, if everything goes well, they might offer those separately, but currently it's only the bars are only available as the kit. But even little things like, you know, how nice the cable guide is here, set up. Just a lot of details. I don't know how well you can see the welds, but the welds are exemplary. Beautiful hourglass integrated head tube there. Super clean dropout. And this is, I think this is 20. I think this is 28. This is 28.9. Have we got a half link in this chain? Oh yeah, it's a cult chain. So this isn't a half link chain made entirely of half links. It's a regular KMC style chain, actually by Cult, but it comes with a single half link. So to be able to get your axle in the dropout in the correct place, you do need that half link, because obviously you don't have a lot of adjustability in this dropout, do you now? And to be able to get the brake set up correctly. So yeah, you will need either a full half link chain like a Shadow interlock, or use a single. There's the single. You can actually see here the black single half link to be able to get it set right. And of course, you're not going to fit external chain tensioners. So it's got these really beautiful built-in chain tensioners here, just to be able to get your chain tension all perfect. Other details like the plate here with the CNC machined DP logo. And as I said in the stream, all the components on the bike, if you were going to ride at the highest pro level on entering a contest, this is the sort of stuff that you didn't pick. But we've taken a little bit of inspiration from components back in the day, like the white wall tyres and the Diacompi MX 1500 seat clamp. But of course it uses a 25.4mm seat post. Yeah, really stoked how it came out. Yeah, anyway, we've got some original DPs here. Let's go and check them out. Let me go and get Ant. Ant! Right, yeah, so we've got some classic DPs here, all in the gloss white, as you can see. Here's Ant again, from We Were Rad. And tell us a little bit about your Firebird, what the story is behind it.
Yeah, well, the Firebird was a bike that I always loved as a kid. My friend Paul Rule had one in chrome. As you know, I'm a big BMX collector, and had to have a Firebird in there somewhere. And every part on my bike is kind of the kind of bike that I would have built back in the day. Affordable parts, which is what went on DPs. Yeah, literally everything here. Even Victor pedals, that's all I could afford as a kid. We all wanted Shimano DXs, but Victors were the affordable ones. Back when the Firebird came out, Z rims were like the coolest wheels you could get. Definitely needed a pair of those. MRD, March Racing Developments, Tim March had to have a British plate on it, being a British freestyler.
Well, yeah, of course.
We've got the SM Mushrooms, again, British kind of version of the ODIs. And again, Panaracer Freestyle tyres, Serginho crank. And it's just a great bike to ride. And, the new bikes, they're just going to be an amazing thing with new geometry, and they brought the brand right up to date, which is where it needed to be. So it's fantastic.
Brilliant, thank you. Thank you very much, Ant. It's a credit to you, mate.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thanks, Ant.
We're just trying to find, we've got a couple more here, Firebirds, and we're just dragging people out of the audience here, unsuspecting. Hiya, how you doing?
All right,
Gaz, okay, Gaz. What's the story about the bike then, Gaz?
Daz. Sorry.
Gaz, Daz, what's the story about the bike, mate?
Well, basically, 3 years ago, I decided I was going to try and rebuild the bike I had as a youth. Unfortunately, it's not my original bike because I foolishly sold that in 1995.
Yeah, we all know that, yeah.
My dad said, when I was selling it, he said, leave it up the loft, it's been up there years. I said, I'll never have anything to do with BMX again, Dad. And then 3 years later, I started with a frame and forks, tried to build the bike I originally had, but as you go along, I think you tend to try and make it better than the bike you had.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I've tried to do. There's a mix of some original parts on there and some modern parts.
No, it looks. I can't help but noticing the Z rim. So how do you get that finish on the Zs?
So I bought them. They were built like that when I bought them.
Oh, really?
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
And are they like a Suntour or a Suzuki hub? Are they?
Suzu,
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's got high flange hubs in, which it came with. There's a few bits I'd still like to change on it, which I probably will as and when I come along or come across them.
And those Diacom 901s aren't easy to get come by now, are they?
No, well, I've 3 bikes and I have a set of them for each bike, so it kind of just runs along with them. Same as the Z rims. I've got all 3 bikes on Z rims. I have a set of Tough 2s which I'll use, put on if I want to ride it.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because I wouldn't try to ride on them. I don't think it'll take my weight now, to be fair. Not as light as I used to be as a teenager.
Brilliant, yeah. Oh, SM grips as well. For those that don't know, SM was a company called Serval Marketing that were a motocross distributor in the UK. We used to deal with them. And yeah, they had ODI make the grips for them here in the UK. He was a gentleman called Ray Tilbrook who ran the company. He did JT Racing over here back in the day and helped us a lot early days of our business. So shout out to Ray on that one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Daz. Very much appreciated. Right, okay. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi Alan, I'm Martin Boardman. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, we'll do this. We'll do this. That's better, Tom, yeah?
Hi, I'm Martin Boardman. This is my 1985 DP Firebird Freestyler GL Plus. Purchased from the factory, built up by the legend himself, Mr. David Parks. Got it for passing my grade 3 music exam when I was 10, I think, or 11. And it's been in my family ever since as a very treasured possession. It's exactly as it.
So it's a complete survivor.
Yeah. The only things missing now, I had some front stumblets on the front, they've gone missing, and I had the power post, but that's disappeared somewhere in the eons of darkness over the time.
Well, thank you so much for having the foresight to be able to keep it in this survivor
Well, that's it, yeah.
condition, because it's only original once, right?
That's it. And when I dug it out of the shed and I put it on the Facebook group and I said, I've just found this, what should I do with it? Should I do it up? And everyone said, leave it exactly as it is.
No,
So,
good, definitely good call. Yeah.
It's pride of place in the garage.
You wouldn't spend 100 million on a Caravaggio and touch it up with some Umbral fixed paints, would you? Do you know what I mean? So,
Very wise.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
that's
but we were saying I lent this to a friend for a year when he went to university, so it's probably left at the side of lecture halls. We went on a holiday. We just used to leave it on the top of the canal boat, not tied up, nothing, and it survived. And thankfully, it's not been stolen, and it never. I was very fortunate. My parents knew the value of it, and so it was never thrown away or anything like that. It was always just moved from shed to shed to shed. Sort of
wow. So what was the story? How you ended up getting it? You bought it from Dave at the factory?
Yeah, my dad knew Dave, and when I was telling Neil before, my dad knew Dave, and my dad came home from work one day. He said, I've been speaking to a bloke who I know. He said, you ever heard of DP Firebird? I'm like, yeah, DP Firebird. He went, well, that's Dave Parks. I've been talking to Dave Parks. I went, what, you know Dave Parks? So I went to primary school then and went, my dad knows Dave Parks. And I was like, and then it was, he rang up and said, come and have a tour around the factory. So I went then, and then when I passed my music exam, it was like, you can have, this was my prize for passing that.
And of course, you famously you went on to be a top international conductor, didn't you?
Not really, just conductor.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for bringing it down and showing it. It's it's a treat to see, definitely.
Fantastic.
Nice one. Thank you.
I need to go.
He's got to get back. Am I still on? We're still on. This is JJ's Hutch talking about that earlier. JJ was just talking about the DP and the things that he likes on a complete bike, and he was comparing the forks to these Odyssey flatware forks. So Julian's here. Hiya, Julian.
Yeah, cool.
How you doing? How we're going to do this, Tom? We do it like that, maybe. So this is an earlier version of a bike that's had the retro, modern, old school treatment.
Yeah, so this is the 2015 version. It's been having a lot of sort of lineage parts creeping onto it though recently. I've got lineage 48 spokes.
Oh,
wheels
nice,
on it.
yeah.
Basically from the Miami Oppas and Miami Op-Ups because I'm sick of bending stuff. I've got Odyssey Evo 2 brakes on it, United Supreme bars. I've ended up with Tech 77 locking levers on it recently. I've got IGI pegs apart from my custom Miami Oppa peg on there. Odyssey Thunderbolt cranks on it, Moto Reflex pedals, got Jason Ford's 3 stem on it, Fusion seat clamp because it rides better than than the donut seat clamps. Odyssey Frequency G tyres on it, so it's a proper piece of kit. It's been a good buy at this one.
So, you know, we know that the large market for a lot of these bikes is for people to have a bike that they can ride today, but it looks like the bike that they had or that they wanted as a kid.
Yeah, yeah.
And obviously in Hutch's case, it was mostly what people wanted but they couldn't afford.
Oh, no way I could get near a
But
when I was young.
how do you find this actually rides in terms of geometry? I think people thinking of maybe doing a... getting one of these DPs to actually be able to ride. Do you think you can do that?
Yeah, the modern geometries and materials on these bikes now is fantastic. I had a 1984 Trickstar, went to do Miami hop-ups on it one day. I was just trying them, and straight away I cracked the forks on it. But you know, you're looking at then it was like 35-year-old pair of forks. Whereas modern set of forks now do Miami Oppas all the time. Never had any trouble with them. So yeah, I mean they ride fantastic now. The modern stuff, I love them, and the modern 990 type brakes are incomparable to the old NX1000 brakes.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that, Julian, because that's something that I was trying to point out on that. And basically, the DP, the Neil Park Elite spec, has basically got the same brake setup as you're using, right?
It does, yeah. Yeah, there's. I think when you're not used to doing them, they can be slightly more fiddly to set up initially. Once you've got used to them, they're okay. I actually find old school NX1000s now more difficult to set up because you've got that.
The centering.
So you set it up, you pull your brake, it moves over, and it doesn't come back. Which you don't get that on these. Once you've set it up, it's
so
set up.
What pads are you using on this, Julian?
On this now, these I think were my Colin Brethren pads from what I remember. But I say that, but they're more than likely Odyssey. You can't go wrong with the Odyssey pads, to be honest.
Yeah. So it's a longer pad. It's not like the Ghost pad.
Yeah. So I always go now for the clear pads, just because they stop better on the chrome rims. A lot of people go with the black pads, but I like the stopping power of these sort of more sticky pads.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever used? I know Cool Stop do a like a Flatland specific pad that comes with a warning. Have you ever tried them?
I haven't, mainly because I think were they about 24 quid?
Yeah, they're not cheap. Yeah. Maybe they're overkill. I don't know.
I'm a skinflint myself.
1 minute till 7 o'clock.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we doing now, Tom?
Just say pre-orders are about to open. And
Yeah. So we're one. There we go. It's 7 o'clock. So really, the pre-orders should now be open. Have we got that going, Toby? Are we good? Yeah, so for those people who are tuning in and you wanted to order a bike, or a frame set, available now online. If you come to the checkout and your number's not available, please select a different number and hopefully you'll get fixed up. And thank you everybody for joining us.